Welcome to Kathy Millett Modelling, and in the last video we created these. Now these are my Asteroid Kickstarter. It's currently running and I painted them up to tabletop quality. Quick, easy techniques so they don't look just like multicolour prints straight off your printer. And I think this achieves that. But there are some things that bug me. I really don't like the worms. I think the floor looks a bit unsealed, like if you touch it you get pigment all over you. So it's time for me to address all those and create a display diorama. And the first thing we're going to look at is that floor. I deliberately left it unsealed because I wanted to be able to add in more powders, and this is Concrete Dust by WWS. It's a big pot pigment. I do love their big pots for terrain. And I've gone down to a smaller brush. It was big brush modelling last time. This is a small brush modelling week. Overall, the aim here is just to not make it look uniform. Now it's easy enough to randomly put on this stuff, but how are we going to fix it? How are we going to make it look good? And the answer to that is matte varnish. First up, I dampened it and tried it with a mix of isopropyl alcohol and water. That's a third isopropyl alcohol, 99%, and 2/3 water. And this is what I did last time. And then I put on the matte varnish. Now I felt like it was muddying the two together too much, putting it on wet. So I actually let it dry and then tried again with just the matte varnish. You can also use dilute matte medium for this, and I've done the same. But what makes all these products matte is exactly the same. It's a white powder in the carrier, which is either a medium for matte medium or a varnish for matte varnish. If you're not careful, it will do exactly what happened here. And you can see that white wet spot at the front right. Yeah, if it's white when it's wet, it's white when it's dry. On the side, I have the remains of a brown wash that I mixed up. There's actually a whole video about washes. This brown wash is brown ink, matte medium and water. It's very simple to make, and you need to dab it on or you might actually just loosen some of the pigments that aren't particularly well stuck. And when it's dry, you can see here, there are actually a huge amount of variation in the floor. It makes it look more realistic than something being all the same. There are some whiter patches that I could go over again with another coat if I was worried, but it all looks tonally about the same. I love pigments, and they're one of my secret weapons that I use everywhere, including the top of these shipping containers. Now, when I used the sponge in the last video to create the worn brown edges, it leaves a silver ring where the bits on top stick up because it can't get in there. And that's a great place to put in some pigment and then secure it. This is actually dilute matte medium. There's hardly any matte medium in it because I can't spray it otherwise, and I mix up a big bottle. So you don't need a huge amount, and the less you have in, the less likely it is to dry white. The trick here is if it's a diorama, you don't need to worry so much about handling. But if you want it for tabletop, you want to put a lot more of the matte medium or matte varnish in it, just so it's robust enough to pick up without coming off all over you. I'm also going to use pigments on the mole and the bucket excavator, but before I do that, I really need it to look a little bit more scratched. This Molotow chrome pen is a fine one. I love this pen. It is so chrome, it's so good. And it's brilliant for adding scratches and things like that. Back to the pigments, and last week I put it on dry. You can see it here, and I found it highlighted the layer lines a little bit. So this week I'm only going to use it wet, and that starts with matte varnish again. Now I tried it with just matte varnish and it was too thick, but the more water I added, the less permanent it was and the more likely it was that when I handled it, it would come off. So if you're using this for tabletop still, you will need to go with pure matte varnish just to make it stickable. Either that or you have to cover it later with another matte varnish spray. But if you're going for something that's more of a diorama and less likely to be handled, you can make it thinner and get a much more translucent effect on the pigment. And once I find a technique, I'm guilty of using it everywhere. Now in this instance, I want all my mining equipment to have a similar feel, similar age, similar usage, similar amount of dirt on it. To be honest, whenever I've looked up tunnel borers like this one, for example, online, they're always squeaky clean. And if you look at equipment that miners use, they can be absolutely sparkling because people clean regularly. But in the actual heat of mining, they will get quite dirty. So it's up to you. You can choose brand spanking new all the way through to heavily weathered, depending on what you like the look of. Another great pigment technique is this. It's a metallic pigment, and when you rub it on to a smooth area, it will shine. Now, it's not a bright, shiny new shine though. It's that worn metal you get, something like a drain cover. It's brilliant. Time to sort out the space worms. I really hated these at the end of the last video. There's no other way to describe it. What they needed was just tying together, and I'm using this fluorescent yellow acrylic paint to do that. What's great about it, which is actually normally really annoying, is that fluorescents are normally quite thin, but because it's thin, I can just paint it straight over the top and all the other colours and sparkle and everything shows through. And when that was done, I added some glow-in-the-dark paint on the top. This should give a really interesting effect. I finished them off by painting the eyes with this gloss black Tamiya. It gives them a really dead stare. I used the same black gloss followed by the metallic pigment to try and make these doors look like, well, they may have windows or some kind of force field or something. Time for the details. These really bring a diorama to life, and signs are a really easy way to do that. I got these off the internet. They're actually from Jedi Fallen Order, the Braca concept art by Cwiertny. You need to print them off. I've just printed them at home using inkjet paper, and then you need to protect them, especially if you want to weather them or glue them on, but also to give them that more plasticky feel that signs have. I'm using Scotch tape, sometimes called invisible fixing tape, but if you haven't got that or your sign's bigger, you could use a matte sticky back plastic. Once that's on, both sides, weather and then glue in place. And now on to one of the arguably, for me, hardest parts of a diorama, adding some life, adding people into it. Now I've got a bunch already painted up, and these minis are by Print Minis. I absolutely love these sets because they're civilian workers with either helmets or I've done them with wild hair, and they're all in overalls, coveralls, so they're brilliant for some kind of industrial scene. I've used them in a hangar previously and in a lot of my Kickstarters, but I hadn't painted up this one figure because I didn't need somebody mining. Well, now I'm doing mining, time to paint them up. And they have to look the same as the other figures. So I know that means using the orange speed paint, some kind of black, probably I used Vallejo black grey because that's my favourite black on the boots and some of the other details, and then I'm going to use a silver, polished silver speed paint on the actual screw mine. Details are picked out with a Molotow chrome pen. And with a final bit of pigment on there, it's time to call these finished. I'm drawing a line here so I can get the video out and can show you what I've done. But in reality, dioramas like this are almost open-ended. I could add in spanners and boxes and workpieces. I could have pirates at the bar carousing. I could add so many extra little details in here. This is going in my Scut City diorama display, which means there'll probably be lighting. I might be able to get the worms to glow by putting in some UV lighting. There's all sorts of things I can keep adding, but it's important to try and keep everything at a similar detail level. So for now, this is where I'm calling it. Let me know if you'd have added even more details, or if you think there's a point where they can get too cluttered. And remember, the Kickstarter is in its last week. If you want to have any or all of these models, they're available at the link in the description. That's all for this time. Enjoy the pictures, and I'll see you next time.